What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. So, 90 Day Fiance, The Single Life, Season 3, Episode 9 has aired. It's time to recap this episode with you guys. And if you're waiting to see what's going on with Veronica, she was not on this episode this week. You'll have to wait until next week to see what is going on in her dating life. But we did check in with Tiffany, who we remember previously was dating a guy named Fabian, who was actually someone that she had dated in the past. Now, he basically ghosted her with no explanation. She was sending him messages, leaving voicemails. He was not returning her calls, even sent her a text message saying that he was going to call her back and never did. Never explained the situation. So Tiffany broke up with him through a text message and she has moved on. And not only has she done that, she decided to move on with someone that she has absolutely no history with. And I think this is the best way to go because you remember she was thinking about rekindling things with Ronald because of the situation with Fabian and how she felt like it was so hard meeting new people and trying to navigate this strange, weird dating world. The dating world has turned into this very, very obscure place that no one really seems to enjoy and no one wants to find anything serious. So she meets a guy named Dan who's actually a teacher and a comedian. He's actually a really nice guy. They seem to have a really good connection. Now, you know the saying, nice guys finish last. So we are going to have to wait and see if a nice guy is what Tiffany is looking for. Most women are looking for some guys with a little edge. So being a nice guy can actually play a bad part in your dating life. Sometimes being a good guy, people tend to get a little bored. And a little edge is definitely something that keeps people on their toes. So we're going to have to wait and see how this goes with Dan. In another scene, we are watching Ronald working overtime trying to rekindle things with Tiffany. He's definitely regretting the way that things ended and how he treated her, which he should. He did put her through a lot. And Tiffany feels that his work to make things better are too little too late. He needed to have come to this realization months ago. He needed to give her this type of energy back when she had the energy to actually put back into that relationship. Tiffany is in a place of closure and she's in a place of healing and she's not interested in reopening a closed chapter of her life. We are all proud of Tiffany. She has been through so much. We are watching her transform into a new person. She's finding herself, finding her voice, and hopefully this season she's going to be finding love. All right, guys, let's switch gears a bit. So we've been watching Natalie as she has been en route to Seattle, which isn't even close to where Mike really is because Mike is in Sequim, Washington, where you need to take boats and ships. And it's such a huge journey to get to where she's going. But she's going there to get back her things. And she's going there to thank Mike for his kindness, helping her mom escape the Ukraine during this extremely difficult and dangerous time. Now that Natalie has seen things in hindsight and she has seen the error of her ways, she realizes that the way she left Mike and the way she treated Mike was not the way that he deserved to be treated. Yes, Mike did work a lot. Yes, they did have issues, but the way that things ended is definitely something that Natalie regrets. Now, what we all are wondering is Mike going to be open to rekindling things with Natalie because it's been so long and he was hurt so bad by the way that she left? Is he going to be willing to reopen those feelings and let Natalie apologize for what she has done and maybe reopen communication with her? Because, guys, they haven't even really been communicating this whole time. So we watched Trish as she came back into the 90 Day universe. Now, Trish is one of my favorite 90 Day moms. She is literally the realest, most honest, tells it like it is mom in the 90 Day universe, and she is a protector of her son Mike. Even though Mike is huge, he's a big guy, super tall, doesn't need protecting, Trish is 100% in protection mode with her son Mike. Trish is definitely not interested in Natalie re-entering Mike's life in any way, shape, or form. She feels that Natalie has always had an agenda, and Natalie coming to Sequim and being with Mike and leaving him the way that she did, Trish feels was all carefully curated in a master plan for Natalie to get over to the United States. And now that Natalie has been unsuccessful in finding a new person in her life, Trish feels that she has come back to her resort to coming back to Mike. Now, we don't know if Mike is even willing and open to let this relationship rebuild. We do know with Trish now living with Mike, there will be absolutely no way for peace to live in that house if Natalie does move back in. So we're going to keep watching and see how this goes. And we're really excited to see Trish back on the show. We've missed you so much. And I can't wait to see your interactions with Natalie because in the past, we have always known you to tell it exactly how it is. So let's check in with Debbie. So only a few days after getting back to Vegas, Tony has already arrived in Vegas to help Debbie pack up her house. He immediately realizes that Debbie is not ready to move. The house is actually disorganized. Not very many things are packed, and there's piles of things all over the place, and Colt's things and Debbie's things are completely mixed up together. So Tony sees a huge job ahead of him, and he's really ready to just get things packed and get back to Canada. If that wasn't enough going on, Debbie has planned a dinner between Colt, Vanessa, Tony, and herself, where she is not only introducing Tony to Colt and Vanessa, but she is telling them that they are moving to Canada the following day. Literally 24 hours later, she is moving to another country. And we know that Colt and Debbie have not even been on speaking terms. So not only has their relationship been strained, they haven't even been speaking. And now the first time that they have any conversation outside of yelling and screaming at each other is when Debbie tells Colt that she is moving to Canada with a man that she literally just met. Now, the dinner actually goes well. Colt and Vanessa did arrive in good spirits, open-minded. There was no yelling. There was no aggression at the table. It was a lot of open communication. And Colt even expressed that he is ready to try to work on his relationship with his mom. Now, he was very shocked that his mom is moving to Canada with a man that she barely knows. And Colt even said that he doesn't really know what type of man would be right for Debbie, but if he was to compare that to his father, Tony is nothing like his father. So I feel like that was a little bit of shade based on that. But again, he's only met Tony for about 5 minutes. So I don't know if he really understands who Tony is as a person in that short amount of time. But I do feel like Colt would have a good idea of the type of person that his mother should be with. And I think that his opinion should be something that should be taken pretty seriously because he's lived with Debbie longer than literally anyone else other than his father. So Colt would definitely know the type of person that would be a good match for his mom. So I want to check in with Caesar real quick because war in the Ukraine has started and Caesar is struggling because communication with Alona has become less and less during this period. Now, Alona did leave the city of Kyiv and she went to Lviv, which is about an hour away because, as we all know, the city of Kyiv was one of the hardest hit during this war. And it's a little safer being about an hour away, but it would be even more safe in Poland, where Caesar has actually offered to pay for her fare to Poland. But Alona doesn't want to leave her father, and her father is pretty set on staying in Lviv. Caesar actually feels hopeless and helpless because the communication is getting less and less. And, you know, during a war, internet connection can go in and out, power can go in and out, and he doesn't know how much of this lack of communication is from the war itself or actually from a lack of interest on Alona's part. He doesn't know if the connection that they built over the few days that they had together is strong enough to last months and months. And everyone knows that Caesar tends to fall in love right away. He finds a woman that he believes is beautiful and he's attracted to, then falls in love with her, and then decides to get to know her later. He builds his feelings extremely fast based on mostly superficial things. So there's no real connection here other than he's attracted to her and he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. There isn't a lot to go on when it comes to a long distance relationship over a long period of time. So whether or not Caesar and Alona work out over this time, especially during a war in time where communication is completely cut off, we will have to continue to watch and see. Let's check in with Tania. So last week took a huge step and she flirted with a woman. This is something that she hasn't really done in the past. She's always been attracted to women. She's never really dated women. She's never really taken that step to be in a relationship with a woman. Now, we did see her try and flirt with a woman named Daphne last week. Things did not go as planned, but she did take that step and she's ripped off the band-aid and now she's ready to enter in the world of dating women. She's actually into a world dating fluidly. She wants to just be attracted to the person, their soul, their personality, and build a connection. And I think that's the best way to find love. When you close things off, you decide what you want and what you don't want before you get to know someone, you're never going to really find a true connection. So for the first time, Tania has booked a date with a woman named Rebecca through a dating app, and the date goes really well. They're building a great connection, and Tania has hope for the first time that love is actually out there, and she's willing to find it. Although she is very nervous because she's on a date with a woman for the first time, and those first time date jitters are definitely getting to her, she's working to try and make herself less guarded and open to love. No one knows exactly where this is going to go, if she's going to end up with a man, if she's going to end up with a woman. But we wish you all the best, Tania, and congratulations on taking this big step in your journey in finding love after your relationship with Sinjin. All right, guys, I'm George Mossey. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey and at georgemossey.com for all your 90 Day Fiancé news and updates. I'll talk to all of you really soon.